Aliens in the Attic is one of the many examples of the dying genre of film that is the theatrical family/kids movie. Well, live action wise at least. It's a genre that started decades ago, but I feel didn't become super prevalent until the 2000s. Disney was in their bag with these back then, releasing a few every year, but other studios would become pretty frequent in their attempts as well. 2009 specifically had its fair share of these, such as Hotel for Dogs, which I reviewed in my last video. Go check that out. Aliens in the Attic, though, is a prime example of a movie I remember coming out and seeing all the commercials for and whatnot, but never actually had the privilege, if you want to call it that, of seeing it in theaters. With a cast filled with a couple relatively notable kids TV stars, since then it's been a movie that's popped into my head from time to time, with me contemplating if I should give it a watch or not, to see what it's all about and if it's worth covering on this channel. And well, since you're watching this on my channel right now, I guess you can gather what decision I came to. But is this a movie that is only worth bringing up because of how bad it is, or is it actually a surprising gem? That, my chronically online friends, is what we will be discussing in this video. My name is Mr. Nostalgia, and today we will be talking about the 2009 family film that I guess technically is kinda owned by Disney now, Aliens in the Attic.
The Pearsons are home.
Some good old family togetherness is exactly what we need.
But they're not alone.
Hello, humans.
Meet Sparks. He's curious.
Got it. Oh, don't got it.
He's friendly.
They turned off the gravity!
On July
You
31st,
can be a part of our family.
family comes in all sizes.
Did you eat all the hot dogs?
No. I mean, yes.
Aliens in the Attic.
Sweet.
Rated PG in theaters July 31st.
Aliens in the Attic beamed its way into theaters on July 31st, 2009. It's directed by John Schultz, who is no stranger to this kind of genre, as he also directed Like Mike, which is crazy because that would make this the third video in a row where I mentioned Like Mike, and honestly, it's been organic each and every time. I wish I could tell you that this is leading to a Like Mike review, but it's not. It probably should though. What's interesting about this movie though is that originally it was going to be called They Came From Upstairs, which would be a fire title for a book, but not so much a movie. And even more interesting is the fact that it started filming in January 2008 and wrapped up a couple months later. I say this is interesting because, well, that's like 15 months before the film's actual release date, which is pretty rare, at least for movies like this. But apparently, the film was originally slated for a January 2009 release, which makes more sense. But for whatever reason, likely due to there already being competition in that field around that time, the film was pushed to the summer. Though oddly enough, about a year after they wrapped up, a few of the cast members had to come back for reshoots, which is strange. Speaking of cast members, we got familiar faces like Elvis, Maddie, Mom from Everybody Loves Raymond, and familiar voices like Josh. I guess I can't really make that same joke since his character name is his actual name. But it was either that or I called him Eddie from Ice Age and no one would have actually gotten that reference. Oh, Andy from Conan was in this. I knew he looked familiar, I just couldn't put my finger on it while watching the movie. And some other people in it we'll talk about later, I just didn't have anything to really say about them. I know it's a dude from SNL in here, so yeah, that's cool. As for the actual movie, it centers around the Pearson family. First, we got Tom, played by Carter Jenkins. Already mentioned Ashley Tisdale is in the movie, and she plays older sister and senior in high school, Bethany. Ashley Bosher plays Hannah, the youngest sister, with Kevin Nealon and Jillian Vigman as the parents. There's an interesting dynamic going on between Tom, Bethany, and the dad, though. The dad is appalled by Tom's grades in school being absolutely horrible, despite him knowing how smart he really is. He cites his sister Bethany as someone he should look up to because she got accepted into a college thanks to her quote-unquote hard work and lack of screwing around, despite her literally just sneaking in through her brother's window after hanging out all night with her boyfriend, Ricky. Tom uses this to try to get off going to his family vacation, but to no avail. His dad is forcing him to go. When they arrive at the vacation house, they meet up with their other family members as well, Jake, Nana, and Nate Pearson, plus the twins Art and Lee. Immediately, there is a bit of friction between Jake and Tom, as Tom is booted out of the room that he rightfully claimed by being there first. It's clear that Jake has a bit of a superiority complex though, because despite Tom being there first and being older, Jake cites him being bigger as the reason why he gets to claim it, something that didn't happen until his recent growth spurt. This animosity he has for Jake can't boil up for too long though, because also arriving to the vacation house is Bethany's boyfriend, Ricky. When we saw him earlier, we didn't really get like a good look at him, but when I was watching this movie with my friend for this video, we were both very surprised by how Like, him? He bagged Ashley Tisdale? 2008 Ashley Tisdale? I mean, she's up there with 96 Jordan, 2018 LeBron, or 2025 Shea. Don't forget, I'm a Thunder fan now. I got the Funko Pop in the back and everything. Okay, obvious rage bait aside, no disrespect to this dude, I just wasn't expecting him to look like somebody tried to draw Freddie Prinze Jr. from the Scooby-Doo movies by memory. Basically, his idea is to arrive there, pretend like something is wrong with the car so we can spend the night there with them. But let's be real, there's only one person he's hoping to stay the night with, and it's not the grandma. Can I get this reference off? Is anyone gonna get it? This is basically an Eddie Haskell situation from Leave It to Beaver, where even though he's high-key evil, he puts on a facade whenever he's around Bethany's parents, and so because of that, everyone likes him, and they let him stay, though not in the same room as Bethany, of course. Tom and Jake, however, know the type of man he really is, so they come up with a plan to, you know, show him who's boss.
This lightweight cotton is so constricting.
I hate cotton.
Bro, that's a normal physique. She getting all hype over a regular person. Man, I got that. I mean, I don't got that, but I'm not that far from it. Tom and Jake start firing paintballs at him, man. I'm just gonna put a counter right here, and you'll see why later. Candace or whatever gets mad at Tom and starts yelling at him, but doesn't actually spot Jake. Because of this, he's the only one to get chastised by his dad, who already has been having problems with his behavior. Alright, so the story really starts to pick up once the TV stops working. So Tom and Ricky go up there to the attic to see what's going on.
But you told my dad you'd fix it.
Oh, well, I told your dad a lot of things. Like, my car broke down, my parents own a lake house, I'm 18.
Whoa! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! He a grown man! Hello? Police? FBI? Kendrick? Anyone? Like, alright, technically she's about to start college. But hey, we don't know how long they've been dating. Come on now. And the funny thing is too, I totally didn't think that the actor was anywhere close to the age he was supposed to be playing. But because I see stuff like this all the time in movies, I wasn't expecting them to actually write it in. That's crazy. Tom goes outside and sees that the dish is completely fried and dismantled. And while he's trying to figure out how this could have happened, Jake sneaks up on him and scares the daylights out of him. He came at a good time though, because right behind him is not only the answer to their current problem, but also a bigger one, though not necessarily in size. And while these aliens just keep spawning like right in front of them, they have the most regular reactions of all time. Like, could you imagine how I'd act if I saw a bunch of aliens in front of me? Ricky comes outside to see what's taking them so long, and well, he gets his answer, but gets knocked out in the process. The aliens start controlling him like an RC and announce their presence as the Zirconians, an alien species that have claimed the planet Earth as their own, though we don't really get much outside of that before they start using Ricky to attack the kids.
We're trapped! Stop!
While battling the aliens, the boys get rescued by the twins, but that doesn't last for too long as the aliens burst through the window. And again, no one has any reaction to them. I don't get it. Both Tom and Jake get shot by the same thing the aliens use on Ricky. However, it doesn't seem to work on them.
Whoa, we cut off her now.
We gotta call 911.
911? You gotta call the Men in Black. Oh wait, this is 2009. 911? You gotta call the Monster Buster Club or something. I don't think anyone remembers that show. Everybody uses a rotary phone to call 911, and the principal from Mean Girls picks up, but their call is quickly cut off by the aliens. Thanks to overhearing their conversation, the kids are able to put together that the mind control plugs only work on mature subjects, not kids, which is why I worked on Karl Malone over here. Forgot I wrote that. So considering it wouldn't be wise for them to enlist their parents or the police to help them, they really are on their own for this one. It's up to them and them only to stop the aliens from taking over their world. Man, if that's not a segue for you too bad, I don't know what is. After spying on the aliens, the kids gather that there's something in this house specifically that they're after, and whatever it is located in the basement. So they go downstairs to try to find it, but to no avail. With the aliens still being on the premises, Jake wants everyone to gear up so they can march in there and take them down, but Tom says he's not really thinking straight. The best way to handle the situation is to actually come up with a plan instead of relying on muscle power alone. But Jake doesn't want to listen, and instead takes the twins up there with an interesting assortment of tools to use as weapons. Tom ended up being right though, because after going in there with a paint gun to try to take them out, Jake and the twins are met with quite the surprise.
He turned off the gravity like in Halo. This isn't Xbox, Lee, it's real. Like we.
Good grief, this really was made in 2008. Tom and his sister run, but are met with the same surprise, and start floating in the air like the rest of their relatives. Using quick thinking though, Tom takes a fire extinguisher and uses it to not only propel himself across the room, but also do some harm against the aliens. Then Jake uses some parkour skills to grab the gravity grenade and throw it at Tom so he can Derek Jeter it out of existence. And with that, I've officially made the first ever baseball reference on this channel. Don't expect many more of these. I know nothing about that sport. From there, the kids are able to scare the aliens back into the attic and in the process come across a discarded tool that the aliens use to control Ricky.
Wait, what are these? Give it back. Let me see. I picked it up first. Oh! Give it back.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually find this to be pretty funny. Maybe that's just a child in me though. Once they realize what the tool is used for, they start taking advantage of the power that's been given to them, even making himself look like a fool in front of Sharpay.
Where have you been?
Oh, shut up, you little poor Anthony.
What?
Once they realize that the aliens are in the vents, they crank up the temperature, something that actually starts to be effective on them, but unfortunately ends up taking off Tom's dad. They share a little exchange talking about how he has a good reason for doing that, and he's just gonna have to trust him. But after recent events involving his grades, his dad isn't too interested in entertaining any of his ideas. This leads to Tom confessing that he failed his classes on purpose because he's sick of being picked on for being a nerd.
I was a brainiac. It worked for me.
I don't want to be like you. I want to be cool.
You should probably start by not saying sentences like, I want to be cool out loud. Tom realizes that they're not going to be able to fight the aliens with their parents still in the house, and so he comes up with a plan involving mind controlling Ricky to tell the adults that the leasing office needs them to swing by thanks to some problem with the contract. So they head out to do not only that, but also pick up some stuff needed for the cookout later that day. In the meantime, the aliens start to make their way through the vents when the smallest one, who goes by the name of Sparks and is voiced by Josh Peck, falls through. He lands in the bedroom that Hannah is currently hiding in, and the two end up becoming friends. These were the kind of beats Lil Wayne was rapping on in his last album. The rest of the kids come in the room when they hear Hannah laughing and she stops them from hurting Sparks, citing that he's actually one of the good ones. But they still interrogate him for more information.
What's your weakness?
Water? Earth shrimps?
Women?
Man, you talking to him like he's Anthony Edwards. They do manage to get him to talk though, or should I say draw. And it's through this that they're able to figure out that what the aliens are looking for isn't actually in the basement. Instead, it's underneath it, meaning the house was built on top of it. The kids kind of go back and forth on whether they should trust him or not, but Tom believes he's telling the truth, as he's gathered that similar to himself, Sparks is unique. I see what they're doing here, trying to connect Sparks to Tom's character art throughout this movie. Alright, you know what? I respect it. This is all interrupted by Nana, who has seemingly been taken over by the aliens, who are in pursuit of getting Sparks back. After Tom wipes out his grandmother with a skateboard, Skip, who fun fact is voiced by J.K. Simmons, which I didn't know until right now, gets bubble blasted by Hannah, leading to his capture. But then, Razor and Taser come in firing on all cylinders and retrieve Sparks. Except they didn't, because he was actually hiding in Hannah's bed, and all the aliens have are some random clothes. Unfortunately for them, even though they don't currently have to deal with the aliens, they still aren't necessarily problemists, as now the principal from Mean Girls, aka Sheriff Doug Armstrong, starts knocking on the door, demanding entrance. He's under the impression that the kids were playing a prank on him, which isn't actually true. Remember, their line got cut earlier, so the call was forcefully ended. So while the rest of the kids go to deal with that, Jake goes after the remaining aliens. After apologizing multiple times, the sheriff still isn't having it, so he tries to open whatever is in the chest. But before he can do that, the rest of the adults come home, and yeah, this is probably a horrible sight for any parent to see, not gonna lie. They hop out the car and start to investigate what's going on, and somehow this leads to them inviting Doug in for their barbecue that's about to happen. He's reluctant at first, but after the parents try to clear up that this is all just a big mistake, and hearing what exactly is on the menu, he's convinced to accept their offer. This is a mega issue though, because one of the reasons why they realized calling the cops wasn't a good idea is because cops carry guns. And if the aliens were to mind control Sheriff Doug, that wouldn't bode well for anyone in that house. Fortunately, Jake is on the hunt for the aliens though, and corners two of them into the alright, never mind. The aliens take Jake to the basement while Sparks and Skip are with the kids, but Skip manages to escape the chest that he's in and starts controlling Ricky again. This leads to the kids leaving to go follow them, but this time taking their remote-controlled grandma. Remote-controlled grandma sounds like a 1990s children's book that you'd always see in the library, but no one ever read it besides you. We all had that one book growing up that no one else seemed to read, but it was fine because we loved it. For me, that was My Evil Twin by Thomas McKean. Either that or The White Fox Chronicles. If anyone has read any of these books, we're now officially best friends. In one of the craziest things that I've ever said on this channel, Ricky, who is controlled by the aliens now, has to battle Nana, who was controlled by the kids. That's not the crazy part though. The crazy part is I think it's one of the best scenes in the movie, and ironically goes kind of hard. Now, why this movie got more action scenes than Fantastic Four? Nana puts the finishing move on Ricky, sending him flying across the room. All of this happening in time for Maddie to come in and see not only that, but also the aliens. Also coming into the scene are Tom's parents, who once again are disposed in his actions, this time thinking he has something to do with wrecking the house. The kids head upstairs and are pretty bummed out over the fact that now that they've been banished to their rooms, they can't stop the aliens from executing their plan. That is until Bethany comes in and tells Tom to man up and lock in, especially since Ricky is in the basement with the aliens. Tom says considering there are even more aliens of their kind on their way, they basically have no shot at beating them. But once they realize that Jake, Sparks, and more or less everyone else on Earth are depending on them to save them, they have no choice but to at least try. They head to the basement to see that the floor of it has been torn up. But on the bright side, they do manage to find Jake. After untying him, he reveals that the device they're searching for was sent there years ago, but some dude put the house on top of it. Oh, and they also find Ricky, if anyone cares. And he actually ends up leaving, after not believing the explanation that Bethany told him, despite his veracity. Using the gizmo they found in the basement, the aliens build a very doomsday-looking device. Seeing this take place, Jake comes up with an idea involving Diet Coke and Mentos, the latter of which was given to the kids throughout the movie by Nana. I got a question. Hannah was given one in the very beginning of the movie. Does this imply that her and the other kids have just been carrying around Mentos in their pockets for later or something? Cause that's kind of weird, but I guess it's convenient for the story. Sparks tries to convince the other aliens to not follow through with their plan, but before he can finish, the Pearson family comes in to defend not only their home, but their species as well. Bethany puts Taser in a trash can while Tom deals with Skip. Or he tries to at least, because what he didn't know was that the device he shot him onto is actually a molecule expander. And now, instead of a bunch of little problems, they have one, a big one. Tom comes up with an idea to supersize the gun the aliens made for controlling people using the machines. We can use it on Skip. He's got to hurry though, because the rest of the Zirconians have already been called and are on their way. Realizing he can't hit Skip's neck thanks to his clothes being in the way, Tom uses his math skills to calculate the right angle needed to land it.
You mess with the wrong mathlete.
I mean, I was gonna give you props, but then you had to ruin it with that line. The twins control Skip to take on Razor, who has also embiggened himself. I was actually just joking earlier, but now this movie legitimately has more fight scenes than Fantastic Four. That's crazy. I like the movie, by the way. I know it seems like I'm just hating on it, but it is kind of funny. Sparks reverses the machine to make the two fighting aliens small again. What's crazy is Taser comes in and scoops up Razor, but kind of just leaves Skip there to die. Like, I know that's her husband or whatever, but geez. Sparks tells the arriving ships to retreat, especially since the machine has been destroyed and the humans have technically won.
You can be a part of our family.
Wait a minute, he's got a wife and kids? I thought he was like 6, I ain't gonna hold you. Man, Sparks got more game than some of y'all. Let that sink in. After Sparks heads home, Tom and his dad make up. He realizes that there are advantages to being smart. After all, he just saved the world thanks to him being a genius. Oh, and if you're wondering if the adults ever found out the truth about the aliens, they didn't. Matter of fact, the whole time they were kind of under the impression that everything happening were actually just fireworks and meteor showers, considering this movie did take place during the 4th of July. The movie ends with the family fishing and oh my gosh, not this dude again. What a way to end the movie, I guess. Oh, well, I mean, technically, that isn't the end of the movie. There's a scene in the middle of the credits where Tom and Bethany control Ricky while he's talking to this girl he's interested in. Okay, I've had enough. So, in the context of Aliens the Attic being a kid's movie, call me crazy, but I actually think it's kind of good. I went in with really low expectations because generally movies like this are not good at all, but this movie could have and probably should have been a lot worse. but I honestly had some fun with this one. I think right off the bat, what helps this movie is its short runtime. The main story only lasts about an hour and 18 minutes, which helped with the pacing of it. The movie never feels boring or uninteresting, nor does it really dip in quality. If anything, the movie becomes increasingly more entertaining as it goes on, with the third act being surprisingly enjoyable. It also helps that unlike most of these movies, including Hotel for Dogs, this one actually has some jokes that made me laugh.
You really want to deny me my time with the kids?
Guilt never gets old. Well, go ahead.
Oh, and Mr. P, while you're out, can you get me some adult diapers?
Mine are
almost full.
Those things only cost $1.99. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that's you, Nate.
Open your eyes, people. There's only one answer. Media shower.
Oh, that's right. I heard on the radio.
Yeah,
Of course.
One thing that also helped is that although there are sprinkles of emotional moments throughout this movie, it never has that one cliche scene where everything goes wrong and we gotta feel bad for them and there's sad music playing, blah, blah, blah. Nah, it's pretty much played for laughs throughout its entirety, which would be bad if I didn't find this movie's humor to be mostly passable. Like, yeah, there's a diaper joke, which again, I found kind of funny, but I can't recall any stupid fart jokes or gross out humor that is commonly found in films like this. Those type of jokes really put a damper on my enjoyment. I mean, it's not like I'm the targeted age for this, but I just don't think you need to resort to that kind of humor to make kids laugh. The Nana versus Ricky scene alone is funnier than almost every joke in Zoom, for example. The characters were also pretty good too. Carter Jenkins especially was really likable in this movie. He's a good actor, and I was at the very least intrigued to see how they would wrap up his little arc throughout the movie. He's a nerd, but the writers made sure to not make him annoying about it. I know earlier he says he wants to be cool, but no joke, he probably was the coolest dude in the movie just because he's one of the rare nerds that actually has confidence in himself, especially in high pressure situations. Ricky is obviously the least likable character, but that was done on purpose, and for the record, his physical comedy in this was kind of top notch. Austin Butler's character was fine, even he kind of became nicer to Tom as the movie progressed, but it wasn't really ever acknowledged in the script. I felt like there could have been more there vocally about how he respects Tom now more than ever, but a lot of it is just implied, which isn't a big deal. Ashley Tisdale no doubt was supposed to be one of the draws in this movie, but like, she's kind of barely in it, which is a little funny. Like, she is, but she's not really involved with the plot until the very end. And I'm not complaining about that, because her character was kind of whatever, but yeah. Other than that, I liked everyone else, and overall, it's just a cool, fun kids movie that doesn't take itself seriously. The plot is not particularly creative, it's actually quite basic. However, the execution included enough amusing elements to make it a decent watch. I could have totally done without the crotch jokes though. I understand it was basically a staple in 2000s kids movies, but 4 of them in one movie is nuts. That genuinely wasn't intentional. I don't know, man. I'm a pretty easy guy to please when it comes to these sort of movies. I thought I'd hate it, but I'd probably give it like a 6.8 out of 10. Something like that. I do feel free to subscribe and hit that like button. And like always, I am Mr. Nostalgia, and I am out for now. Peace.